Hello, friends. Matt Murphy and the Matt Murphy Show continues on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Pleased that you've joined us on this Thursday. It is, of course, September 11th. We remember this day from 24 years ago. We also remember September 11th, 2012, the Benghazi attacks that tragically led to the death of American citizens, 4 fine American citizens that died on that day. And we think about that. We think about the death of Charlie Kirk, the assassination of Charlie Kirk yesterday on September 10th. And we're thinking of all of those things live from the City Winery. We're at the City Winery today to honor our veterans, to honor our soldiers, and to honor those who have given so much to the United States of America. It is the Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project Patriot Awards Dinner. Happens annually at the City Winery, or at least since I've been a part of it, has been at the City Winery, and what a wonderful event it truly is. We appreciate you. If you're coming out, say hello to us. We're kind of in the back of the room as things are starting to get underway. Just a little bit of a programming note, just to make sure that you guys are aware. Normally, we're here, of course, until 7 o'clock. We're on location. Young Jackson is with us on location, as is Kirby, as is CJ. Dan Mandis in the house as well. Bell's back at home base, and at 6 o'clock tonight, we're going to play a little bit of what we did yesterday in the beginning stages of our understanding of what happened with Charlie Kirk yesterday. We're doing that because the program here starts at 6 o'clock, and there's going to be a lot of activity going on in the room, and obviously we're going to be focused on that here. We appreciate you we beg your indulgence in that regard, but I think you'll appreciate, maybe not enjoy, based on the subject matter, but certainly appreciate what we have for you in store at 6 o'clock today. In the meantime, we talk to you on the phones at 615-737-9986. Fred has waited a long time, and I appreciate your patience. And I've got Tim and Cameron and Lee coming up. But, Fred, you're up next on the Matt Murphy Show. Thank you, sir, for your patience, and thank you for calling.
I had sent you the pictures of the shirt, the close-ups, the higher res, and of the gentleman, and the ad on Etsy. But if anybody wants to buy it, it's sold out on Etsy. Maybe available other places. But the gentleman looks very fit, very trim. He's wearing a disabled veteran's shirt, but appears incredibly calm under the circumstances. He looks like a pro, like everyone has been saying, don't you think?
If this is the person, if you're talking about the photographs of the person of interest, if it turns out that this is the individual that we're looking for and this is the individual responsible, yeah, I mean, he obviously looks like, I don't know how you would define a pro versus someone that knows what they're doing or has experience around firearms. If you showed me a picture of that guy and asked me if that guy looks like he has experience around firearms, I would say yes.
He does not look like a killer, that's for sure. He doesn't look all that intimidating, but he's incredibly calm, which under the circumstances may in itself be a hint. He's looking straight at the camera, so he knows where the cameras are. On the picture I sent you can see him looking straight at the camera. And so he may or may not be a vet. He may or may not be disabled. That may just be part of what he was doing for whoever might have been paying him. So anyway, just thought I would send those shirts to you.
Well, Fred, I'm glad that you did, and I'll take a look at it as soon as I am able. I've not seen those photos that you've sent. Did you send them via the super text line?
Yes, I did.
Okay, yeah, I'll look for them. I've got so much going on over there. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't, All right. And thanks for the call, Fred. Appreciate you. I don't know how you would, describe a quote unquote professional versus someone that doesn't know what they're doing. I would say this, that I was blessed to grow up in a family around guns, around firearms. I don't know what it was that my grandfather did to impress upon me as a young child that guns were grown-up items and that you were not to touch them, but I know they were readily available. I slept regularly in a bedroom with a gun rack with loaded shotguns in the gun rack. I slept next door to my grandparents' bedroom. And in my grandparents' bedroom was my grandpa's gun cabinet. It wasn't a gun safe. It was a gun cabinet with a glass door on it. And you know where the key to that gun cabinet was? In the door, right? And all of the rifles were in there. I knew exactly where his pistols were. My grandfather wasn't so much a pistol guy or a handgun guy, but he had a few of them. And I now have a few of the ones that he had. And I knew exactly where they were. Now, I'm not saying we do it that way anymore, but I'm saying that I knew that if I went anywhere near those guns, that I was going to have holy hell beat out of me, right? I mean, that I was going to get beaten until the white meat showed. And so I didn't do it, right? I didn't do it. But with that came understanding and training. When I got to a certain age, I got a BB gun. And when I got to a certain age, I was allowed to shoot my grandfather's 22. And then at the age of 12, my grandfather bought me a 12-gauge shotgun. I don't know why he bought me a 12-gauge and not a 20-gauge, but he did. That's what they did. Remington, a Mossberg pump 12-gauge shotgun that I still own. And, almost blew my shoulder off shooting it. But that's what I learned to shoot on. I learned to shoot on that. I learned to shoot on that 30-30. And I think I said it was a Winchester. It was a Marlin 30-30 lever action that I also still have. It was my quote-unquote grandmother's gun. And then my grandfather had the Winchester Model 70, 30-06, that he used for deer hunting. And we had other rifles. Obviously he had other rifles in his possession, other guns that he used, and a lot of shotguns. He had 20 gauges and 12 gauges of his own. But I grew up around guns, right? So I was never that good of a shot. And I've worked at the Glock store to be more proficient in my ability to shoot a handgun. But I would say I've shot many deer at 200 yards. Even though I wouldn't say that I was a good shot. My grandfather was a good shot. And so I don't know that from a 200-yard distance or a 200-feet distance, obviously, and I think we've established that it's a 200-yard distance, that it would take some sort of expertise outside of having a basic knowledge of how to use a rifle and a basic knowledge of what's going to happen to that bullet once it leaves the barrel, the muzzle of the rifle. It's going to obviously, over distance, it's going to fall over time. Tim is in Tullahoma, and Tim joins us next on the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Thanks for calling, Tim.
Hello. First-time caller, long-time listener. I just wanted to ask you a question, maybe get your opinion on it, and it could be kind of like a conspiracy theory question, I guess. But have we heard if they questioned the individual that asked the question to Charlie? I mean, because to me it seems a lot coincidental, that the question that was asked was related kind of to what, the shooter, what information they know on the shooter. Almost like a shot caller. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, might be a little crazy out there with that question, but I just feel like, maybe that person wanted to be able to see it and they're working together or something like that. I mean,
yeah,
they would question that person.
It is, and I will say this, Tim, that yesterday in the heat of everything that was going on, and yesterday's show was a little bit of a blur. I forget who it was, but someone called and brought this up, and I kind of dismissed it at the time, and I shouldn't have, because I think it is very likely that was just a coincidence. However, it is possible that it wasn't. So whomever the caller was yesterday, I apologize to you for being dismissive of this point that Tim brings up. Tim, I would lean toward coincidence, but I don't know. I mean, is it possible that there was a coordination that, hey, I'm going to get in line and I'm going to ask this question, and when I ask this question, that's when you do it? Yeah, I mean, that's possible. I mean, I would – if you and I, Tim – in Nashville, Tennessee, are asking these questions on a radio show, I promise you the FBI is finding those people and sitting down with those people and asking those same questions. At least they most certainly should be.
I would hope so, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, sadly, I don't dismiss anything. I was a little dismissive of it yesterday, and I shouldn't have been. But, no, I think it's a fair point. If you made me decide one way or the other, I would say probably just a coincidence, because that's something of a natural question. I would be willing to bet you, without looking over Charlie Kirk's experiences on college campuses over the last several years, that he gets a transgender question every single time. He probably gets a gun question every single time. So coincidence maybe, but certainly something that the authorities should be looking into.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Tim, for the call. And don't make your first call your last, Tim. I do appreciate you dialing us up today. Cameron is next out of the borough on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, Cameron.
How you doing today? Man,
I'm good, Cameron. I'm blessed. I hope you are.
I'm good. Yesterday was it was very shocking of what happened. But, this guy was from 200 yards, is what they say. I grew up in North Louisiana, deer hunting and everything else. At 200 yards, this guy had to be some kind of hunter or somebody that has to shoot pretty often. So, like, ranges, local land, family land, like, this guy had to be at least somebody that knows how to shoot, but he wasn't smart enough to pick up his stuff.
Yeah, I think he left that on purpose.
But why leave it?
Well, I mean, I think the obvious reason that you leave it is that if you try to get away with it, somebody's going to see a guy running with a gun.
Yeah.
You're trying to blend in. So if you don't have any prints on that gun, and you've got several bullets still in the gun, right? It's a bolt action, so he didn't even eject the casing. I'll say this to your point, though, Cameron. This person knew enough about what they were doing that they knew when, and I don't want to be too graphic here, Cameron, but I think you know what I'm saying. They knew when they fired that first shot, they didn't even chamber another round. They knew that they had killed him.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that, and from that point, if you believe that this was a planned attack, and obviously it was planned, the authorities are saying that they believe that the individual in question got on site some 40 minutes before they shot. So that's really as the event was getting into gear. There's a lot of questions about if it is a wooden stock, older 30-06, and I am seeing where the Wall Street Journal, that is, reported that it was a Mauser. Those are wooden stock guns. Those are not collapsible stocks. Are there some of them collapsible? Okay, so Kirby's saying some of them come apart. I don't know. But, I mean, so did they put the gun in place? How did they smuggle the gun in there? But, if your intent is not to get caught, if your intent is to get away, then you've got to ditch the gun.
Yeah.
And as long as your prints aren't on it, you just leave the weapon there. And you're leaving whatever political message inside that gun on those shell casings that you design on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, hopefully a lot of these questions are going to be answered. We expect, and thank you, Cameron, for the call. I appreciate you. Got to get to a break here, but we'll get to more of your calls with Joseph and Joe and Lee as well. A lot of these questions are going to be out there until answered, obviously. We were hoping to get some answers from the Utah authorities and the FBI in the form of a press conference today. They're putting off that press conference. It's now 4:20 local time. Will we get a press conference today, this afternoon? There was a conference earlier today when they talked about the retrieval of what they believe to be the gun. You would think that based on the ballistics on the scene on Charlie Kirk's body, that they can match all of that up. You would think that they would look for the round, obviously. We heard at one point that the round was still in Charlie Kirk, in his body, and that was yesterday afternoon. I don't know if that was confirmed or not, but regardless, I mean, you get the ballistics to that. You find the bullet. You match it up to the gun that they found, and you'll definitively know if it was the gun or not. And then you go from there. We're going to go to a short timeout. We're live from City Winery in advance of the Charlie Daniels Patriot Awards. It's 21 after the hour. You're listening to Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Thank you, Ken Weaver. Ken Weaver back at home base in our studios just off of Music Row, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy, and we are on location at City Winery, just a stone's throw, a golf drive away from our studios. But we're here in advance of the Charlie Daniels Patriot Awards dinner happening tonight, remembering Bernie Kerik, the New York City Police Commissioner at the time of 9/11, thinking about 9/11 on this anniversary, also thinking about all of our patriots that have served our nation so admirably, so honorably, and thinking about those men that were serving their country in Benghazi in 2012 on September 11th during the Benghazi attacks as well. And we're taking your telephone calls at 615-737-9986. I'm going to look real close here, and I think if this yes, Lee on line 5 is next up on the Matt Murphy Show. Hello, Lee. Hello, Lee.
Hey, how are you, Matt?
Doing well, Lee. Thank you.
I wasn't going to talk about freedom of speech, but you guys got me fired up about everything else, I guess, where you're talking. But, I worked in law enforcement my whole career, and one of the consequences is that you can have freedom of speech, but there are consequences to those actions. And you threaten somebody or you yell fire in a theater and you get somebody hurt, there are consequences for that. And I think in our country a lot we forget that. We think that sometimes that burden of free speech comes with no consequences at all. And I guess that's the point I wanted to make, is that people that go off on their own, side issue, and they want to make an issue about something and threaten somebody while they're doing it, they're not doing right, number one. Number two, they could be breaking the law. And I don't think we hold people to the standard of the law in a lot of those situations. So just saying, you can lose your job. You certainly have the freedom to say what you want to say, but there's consequences that come with that. And I think we all got to be a little more careful. My wife said something to me today about they were going to sort of dox some of these people that had said malicious things after Charlie Kirk's passing. And I said, I don't think he would want that. I don't think that's the kind of person he was. And I'm as sad for his passing as anybody could be. Maybe Chris Hand today was very touched. I was very touched by his memory of him, and which that even gave Charlie Kirk even a greater place in my memory and esteem, because of, if Chris Hand thought that much about him, I mean, he was a greater man than even I thought he was. And so we just have to be careful not to go down that moral rabbit hole where we all fall into the same degradation and we all become the same people we detest so much.
Well, I said yesterday, Lee, and I don't know if you had the chance to catch it, that what we cannot allow ourselves to do is become them.
Yeah, I heard that, and I thought you did a wonderful job.
Well, thank you. I mean, and toward your point, and thank you for the call, Lee. Yes, you're allowed. So here's what it's tricky, but understand this: you're allowed to yell fire in a crowded theater. If there's a fire, you're not going to get into any trouble because you've alerted people to danger. What you are not allowed to do, and the whole fire in a crowded theater analogy indicates what you cannot do is use speech, use language to put people in direct harm's way. And if you are doing that, either through inciting individuals to commit violence against other people or inciting an event to occur in a way that is going to put individuals in harm's way, then there are going to be ramifications legally for you. Now, that is government response to speech. And we're going to have a very, very interesting and what I hope to be educational discussion about this tomorrow with Jay St. Clair, because Jay and I have had this conversation for years. It comes up occasionally. He has literally taught classes in law school about speech and about freedom of speech, and about what is permissible and what is not permissible in America, and how speech is restricted, but the government is restricted as to what they can do with regard to your speech. Jay loves to use the analogy, and let me predict, he's going to use it tomorrow. It's going to be pretty funny because I'm going to say this today, and he's going to do it tomorrow, that if you come over to my house to watch the Georgia-Tennessee football game, and I tell you, you're allowed to watch the Georgia-Tennessee football game in my house. But if you sing Rocky Top one time, you're out. You can't go, no, free speech, free speech. It doesn't work that way. I'm not the government, right? So I can regulate you. Look at CJ poking the bear. So the government restriction regarding what they can and cannot do with your ability to speak is much more restrictive than your employer. Your employer without with the few exceptions of the protected classes. In other words, they cannot fire you for those conditions that you have no control over, a condition of your birth, like your ethnicity, your national origin, your sex, your religion. But outside of some of those protected classes, you can get fired for pretty much any reason or no reason at all. I'm late to the news. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN, back with more of your calls coming up right after this. Things are getting serious. I have put my jacket on. Mandis is in the house. Dan Mandis is here. We are live at the Charlie Daniels Patriot Awards Dinner. What a great event. What a great location here at City Winery. Don't mind some of the construction going on the front end of the property. Just get to the City Winery. They'll valet your car. I hope that you're coming. I hope that you have your tickets, and I hope to see you here a little bit later on tonight. We're wrapping things up in a live fashion in about 20 minutes. And then we'll send it back to home base, home studios, and Bell's got a selection from yesterday's show. Very hard listen, but very important to listen in the aftermath of what we discovered was the assassination of Charlie Kirk, political commentator Charlie Kirk. So we're going to do that at 6 o'clock. Until then, we'll continue to take your telephone calls, thinking about 9/11, thinking about yesterday's events, thinking about where we go from here. And we will start with, I'm old. They used to make these words a lot bigger. Joseph, I believe it is, in Nashville on line 1. Hey, Joseph, how are you?
Very well, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. First thing I want to say is thank you, Mr. Murphy, for everything that you do. I just want to bring to your attention that they do have a new song out. I don't know if it's an IP song or IA or whatever, but the song, I believe, is called How Dare They for Charlie. And when I heard it today, it stopped me in my tracks. And I just think that you need to listen to this song. I got it off of TikTok. And if you could, it doesn't have anything, bad in it. But if you could play that song so that people can hear it, view it first, but please put the word out on that song because it's going to hit you. And I just want to thank you, all your listeners. I'm a long-time listener, very first-time caller, but this hit me hard at home. And, being a born-again Christian, it tears my heart in half. And thank you for your time, and I'll let you speak.
Well, Joseph, thank you. You're very kind to call. Don't make your first call your last. I appreciate that, and I will look up the song. I don't think we're going to have time to share it today, but certainly we have tomorrow available to us, and we'll get into it tomorrow, if not today. And if it is as you have described, we'll certainly be happy to play it for the listening audience. But I appreciate you calling in. I hate it's under these circumstances, but don't make that first telephone call the last. We love engaging with the listening audience. To that end, we're going to get to as many as we possibly can before we have to say goodbye a little early. This time it's Joe's turn in Nashville. Joe, thank you for your call, and welcome in.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Thanks for taking the call. And I just want to. I'm neither. I wouldn't consider myself a left or right. I'm right down the middle, libertarian. I would say if I'm anything. It's sad. It's sad when anyone dies, but the rhetoric and the attitude and the just the way that the left goes at the right every single day. It's setting. It's setting a stage for this. I'm surprised. It's just there's so much hate, and I hear the right call the left demons, and they have no souls. And so if I think someone's a demon that has no soul, if something bad happens to them, I would be happy. There's so many people that are happy this happened. So many people that are mad this happened, and it's going to do nothing more but create more divide. That's all it's going to do. That's all it's going to do. And the more people feed into that, it's just growing. And this is just another gas on the fire because people are going to hate the left even more because they're celebrating. People are going to hate the left, and it's just going to keep snowballing. And
it's important. I don't mean to interrupt you, but Joe, it's important to note. Toward your point, that not everybody on the left is celebrating. As a matter of fact, I would suggest that the vast majority of the people on the political left recognize that this is a step way too. But there's a huge difference between political rhetoric, even heated political. I mean, I get into political fights with people on the left all the time, and neither of us walk away from those things saying that we want to beat hell out of one another or certainly shoot one another, right? Sadly, these voices, these confused, angry, evil, mad voices, and mad as in madness, they have been amplified because of social media. They've been amplified to the point that I don't know that they've been out there in these numbers, but we certainly see them a lot more than we used to because of social media presence.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But listen, Joe, continue to listen, continue to call in. I love hearing from folks who think of themselves as middle of the road, especially on issues like this. It's an important point you make.
Yeah, I tried to call in when y'all had, I don't know if it was you, had Jody Barrett on the other day. And I couldn't call in, but, he's already funded by AIPAC. So it's just a lot. I tried to call in. I just wanted to get to that point, but I didn't get to it. But, yeah, I listen to you every day. Stay on my radio.
Well, I'm glad you do, Joe. And, yes, we've had thank you for the call. We've had Jody on. I believe it was probably Chris. It was either Chris or Chad. Because this race is getting heated up, and we've all had them on. So it was either Chris or Chad that had him on a couple of days ago, and I appreciate that, Joe. Thank you much for the call. 47 minutes after the hour, it's Jacob's turn. Next up on the Matt Murphy Show, Jacob. Thank you for your call.
Good afternoon. I had a question, and I apologize if I misword something here, but when Congress went into session, or the proper verbiage of that, and they asked for a silent prayer. And then that passed, and then they asked for a verbal prayer, and things went haywire. And there was cursing and stuff. I don't understand how that's allowed there when if I go to court for a speeding ticket, if I spoke out a line or cursed, I'd probably be put in contempt and arrested. Why do they not do that over there?
There are certain rules in the House allowing for free and open debate. As a matter of fact, slander and there are certain things that you and I could be charged for in a court of law that you could not be charged for on the House floor because they want to promote the concepts of free and open debate. So individuals on the House floor are allowed to be wrong, right? They're allowed to say things that turn out to be incorrect, and we don't go after them in a legal manner because they want to allow for free and open debate. Secondarily, the House of Representatives isn't a court of law, and they are governed by their own rules.
That's understandable, but I still don't understand why they can't keep it at least professional.
Well, I mean, I get that, and sadly, Mike Johnson seemed to be trying to do that during that outburst, and it was an outburst on both sides. One side, they kind of hissed and booed at the idea of a verbal prayer, and the other side got very angry when that happened, and there was a lot of verbiage being slung back and forth in the aftermath of all of that. I don't understand why we just didn't have a verbal prayer and move on from it. But, no, I agree with you. It was not a good moment for the House of Representatives at all.
And in light of what it was over, discussion over it.
No doubt. Jacob, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Tell you what, quick time out. We'll wrap it up next on the Matt Murphy Show, at least from here. You've got another hour. We're going to share with you some of the program from yesterday as we are set to begin the program here at City Winery with the Charlie Daniels Patriot Awards dinner. But we've got time for Harry and Sean and Danny. I hope to get all three of those in here. It is 5:50 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Why, thank you, Ken Weaver. We've got about 3 more minutes in this hour of the show before we hand off to Ken and the newscast at the top of the hour. Just a reminder, plenty of show left, another hour of the Matt Murphy Show, but it will be a re-up or rebroadcast, if you will, of an hour from yesterday's show. It's not something, at 3 o'clock hour, I believe it was our first view into what was going on in Odom, Utah, at Utah Valley College, Utah Valley University. So that's coming up in the 6 o'clock hour as we're preparing for the Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project Patriot Awards dinner, which is set to begin in just mere moments. We've got the color guard has come out, and they're preparing to present the colors. We've got the pledge and the prayer and the national anthem and all of those sorts of things. And very excited to be here tonight. Always a wonderful opportunity to honor our veterans, to honor those patriots that have served our country and served all of us with honor and distinction. Let me get to a few calls. I want to get to Danny first on line 6. Danny, thank you for your call today. I appreciate your patience.
I appreciate you taking the call. I tried to get through yesterday, and I understand completely how busy you were and everybody wanting to say a few things, so it means a lot that you're able to get to me today, sir. Charlie Kirk had a major impact on my life. I was not an ornately political individual. I thought that it was sort of a lame thing to be involved in. And I was so taken aback when he first came to prominence in some of his content posting that it really drew me in a positive way into the political spectrum, and I've been able to very positively influence people's lives. And I've heard a lot of callers today and yesterday saying things that just alarmed me a little bit. And I would say that in remembrance of Charlie, there's a few ways that I think that we should go one step further than just remembering him. I think that we should honor him. And I think that there's 3 ways in particular that we can do that. We can honor Charlie Kirk and his memory and what he gave to our country by fighting in the realm of ideas with words and not weapons.
Yes.
With big thoughts and hearts, not hatred. I think that we can honor him by putting our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ first and foremost in all things. And I think that we can honor Charlie Kirk by leading our families as men and women and raising our children to think in ways that will make sure that the next generation does not need to suffer this sort of awful, traumatic event. Honor Charlie Kirk. Don't avenge him. That will be the Lord. Honor him.
It's really well spoken. You know, what I did on my social media platforms, and I don't tell anybody else what to do with theirs, but I would encourage you to consider it is, I put up, I am Charlie Kirk. I am Charlie Kirk. I was reminded of the movie Spartacus. Remember the scene in Spartacus where the Roman emperor says, every single one of you will live. All of you are going to live. We're going to allow you to live. We're not going to crucify any of you. You just have to tell us who's Spartacus. And, I mean, if you've never seen that scene, because Tony Curtis's character stands up and says, I'm Spartacus. And then another person stands up and says, I'm Spartacus. I'm Spartacus. I'm Spartacus. The message is that we're not going to let you take our leader from us. We will sacrifice ourselves before that. Well, sadly, we don't have that ability with Charlie, but I am Charlie Kirk. You are Charlie Kirk. We're all Charlie Kirk in the spirit of free and open debate and the premise of the United States of America, the basic premise that all men are created equal and we're endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, life, liberty, and, of course, the pursuit of happiness. And the first of those being, obviously, life. That's going to wrap it up from here right now. We'll get to Ken Weaver coming up in the newsroom in just a moment. Our 3 o'clock hour from yesterday is upcoming as we celebrate our veterans and our patriots at the Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project Patriot Awards. As far as live broadcast, I will see you tomorrow. Dan Mandis is here in the house, and he's going to talk to you tomorrow morning bright and early with Nashville's Morning News with Dan Mandis. That's coming up at 5 a.m. Until next time, so long, everybody.